Hi there, and welcome to 3 essential red wine grapes for beginners. In a world that's brimming with approximately 10,000 different wine grape varieties, these are the 3 essential red wine grapes that anyone starting out in wines should know. These 3 are part of the original noble red varieties and are the most widely recognized and available red wines in the world. The term noble varieties, which can be used interchangeably with international varieties, emerged to differentiate these 6 grapes, 3 reds and 3 whites, from the hordes of other grapes. More importantly, it signals their top-tier quality and ability to showcase their unique characteristics regardless of where they're grown and how they're crafted. These 3 red wine grapes also offer a range of diversity in terms of being light, medium to full-bodied, thus catering to most preferences. Let's begin our journey with the enigmatic princess of the wine world, Pinot Noir. She's like royalty. She's delicate and demanding, but oh so divine. She has a thing for cooler climates, not too hot, not too cold, just like Goldilocks searching for the right temperature porridge. When the temperature shoots up, she becomes overtly ripe and loses her fresh, delicate berry and floral aromas. But she doesn't like it too chilly either. She won't develop her complex aromas without sufficient warmth. Pinot Noir revels in long, sunshiny days, followed by cool evenings, the kind that helps her to maintain her vivacious acidity. However, like the legendary Princess and the Pea, she's sensitive to everything around her and falls ill easily. Her thin skins and tightly clustered berries make her a challenge to cultivate. Without adequate airflow, she's prone to fungal infections. But oh boy, when she's tended to with care, she's a revelation. Refreshing and exciting, powerful even, with earthy, meaty, leathery nuances, all balanced with her fresh berry and floral aromas. And let's not forget her love for oak, specifically French oak. Mind you, French oak happens to be the creme de la creme of oaks and the priciest of them all. Pinot Noir's native home is the picturesque Burgundy, where she truly flourishes. Here, she's the only red grape, and you can rest assured that if you're sipping on a red Burgundy, it can only be 100% Pinot Noir and nothing else. The princess is treated with the utmost respect, allowing her to be her authentic self. The Burgundians are staunch advocates of minimal intervention, and it's in this environment that she becomes enveloped in French oak barrels commonly known as pièces, developing those delightful aromas of vanilla and sweet baking spices such as cinnamon and cloves. In Burgundy, the notion of terroir reigns supreme. It's the belief that everything above and beneath the ground contributes to creating unique grapes with a distinct identity that cannot be replicated anywhere else. But Pinot Noir is not one to stay put. She's globe-trotted her way into the cooler regions of various countries. You'll find her in Chile's Casablanca Valley, Oregon in the United States, South Africa's Elgin and Walker Bay, New Zealand's Marlborough, Martinborough and Central Otago, Australia's Yarra Valley, Adelaide Hills and Mornington Peninsula, and the Ahr region of Germany, where I had my first encounter a decade ago with a Pinot Noir ice wine, or as they say locally, Spätburgunder. Although the princess is most commonly made into a still, dry style wine, she can be made into a concentrated sweet wine, as is the case of ice wine at Trockenbeeren aus Lesses, but always balanced with her vibrant acidity. And have I mentioned that she's one of the main stars in Champagne, which is yet another cool climate region? Because of her success in Champagne, sparkling wine producers all around the world have emulated this style, as is the case in Italian Franciacortas and South African Method Cap Classics. Surprisingly, she's also discovered a liking for warmer areas, basking in sunshine, such as Stellenbosch in South Africa and California. These places provide cooling ocean breezes that help her ripen to perfection whilst preserving a bright acidity. And how do you spot this Royal Highness in your glass? She's always paler ruby. Look for higher acidity and those almost fine powdery tannins that caress your palate. Aromas of fresh red fruits mingled with a distinct earthiness. Think wet leaves, forest floor or mushrooms and truffles. And there's always that signature touch of meatiness, leathery notes, or a faint farmyard charm. Speaking of farmyards, imagine walking into an animal farm, then dial down that scent by 15 to 20 notches. Surprisingly, it can actually be exquisite if it's in the right doses, adding beautiful layers of complexity to the wine. This intriguing farmyard aroma is thanks to a yeast strain known as Brettanomyces, or Brett in short. But beware of excessive Brett because it can turn into a wine fault instead of a delightful quirk. And when the princess is left on her own or gently oaked, expect to smell floral notes of roses, violets, and sometimes lavender. In cooler climates like Burgundy, Champagne, and Germany, Pinot Noir leans towards red berry notes. Think strawberries, raspberries, cherries, and cranberries. But in warmer regions like California and Stellenbosch, she takes on a deeper color and hints at dark berry characteristics like black plums and cherries, all whilst maintaining her beloved red fruit undertones. And that's a princess for you. Finicky and complex, but completely worth the effort. Now let's dive into the wine world's very own mighty mouse, Cabernet Sauvignon. This little grape packs a powerful punch like the grape superhero of the wine world. His berries may be small, but his skins are as thick as nails, resulting in wines that are deeply colored, full-bodied, powerful, concentrated, and tannic. In the world of Cabernet Sauvignon, size doesn't matter. In many ways, he's the polar opposite of Pinot Noir. He's strong, hardy, and extremely resilient with an immune system that's the envy of the wine world. This allows him to thrive practically anywhere and everywhere, earning him the nickname of the Wild Cabernet. He's a sun worshipper, soaking in those rays to develop his signature deep color and the rich blackberry goodness. But don't let that fool you. He can also flourish in cooler climates where he'll take on a lighter hue and exhibit more stringent tannins and greener flavors. Cabernet Sauvignon is like the wine equivalent of a timeless classic. He has the gift of longevity and can age gracefully for decades when made with quality in mind. He has the potential structure that could rival the Eiffel Tower. His strong tannins, high concentration of flavors, and sound acidity, not too high but just right, allows him to evolve in the bottle much like a fine wine with age. Did you know that his parents are Cabernet Franc and Sauvignon Blanc? It's like a Hollywood power couple who's produced a superstar child. One thing he inherited from both his parents are those green flavors, thanks to chemical compounds called methoxypyrazines. Green bell peppers are almost a sure sign that you've got Mighty Mouse or one of his relatives in your glass. Bordeaux is often claimed as his birthplace, where he's commonly blended with his mom, Cabernet Franc, and sister, Merlot. Yes, you heard me right. There's a family reunion happening in the vineyards of Bordeaux. Because he ripens later than some of his grape peers, thanks to those thick skins that need more warmth and sunshine to change color, he tends to accumulate more sugars. This often results in wines with a higher alcohol content. Mighty Mouse truly shines on the left bank of Bordeaux, particularly in the gravelly soils of Pauillac and Saint-Julien. These gravel soils act as cozy blankets, retaining and reflecting warmth and heat, allowing Mighty Mouse to develop more concentrated and complex aromas. In the glass, you'll find Cabernet Sauvignon dressed in deep ruby and even purple robes, especially when he's young. His colors are so intense that you won't be able to read the text under your glass. When Cabernet Sauvignon is allowed to mature gracefully, you're in for a treat. He'll become full-bodied with tannins that are ripe yet textured, almost gripping your palate. His alcohol content tends to lead towards the high side, typically above 13% alcohol by volume. Coupled with his distinct acidity, not overtly high but perfectly balanced, you'll find an abundance of ripe black fruit flavors mingled with cedar, notes of tobacco, smoke, and spices. However, if he's harvested earlier, you'll encounter a lighter-bodied wine with higher acidity, more astringent tannins, and a distinct herbaceousness or greenness, all mingling with fresh red and blueberry flavors with hints of dark berries. Cabernet Sauvignon is also known to have a penchant for oak, and unlike the princess, he's open to any type of oak. So whether it's French, American, Slavonian, or anything else, he's ready to embrace it. Cabernet Sauvignon is a voyager in his own right. You'll find him in Tuscany, where he often joins forces with Italy's favourite grape Sangiovese, creating famous Super Tuscans like Sassicaia and Ornellaia. He also thrives as a single varietal in Australia's Margaret River, Barossa and Coonawarra, California's Napa and Sonoma counties, and South Africa's Stellenbosch and Franschhoek. One of my personal favourite expressions of Mighty Mouse is Aphrodite by two hands in the Barossa. The wine is concentrated and powerful, yet so gracefully elegant. Now, for something truly special, there's a Chinese wine called Aoyun. And for those of you who are rolling your eyes, this wine was made by the LVMH conglomerate and will set you back a minimum of €270 plus, according to Wine Searcher. The star of the blend is none other than Cabernet Sauvignon, which thrives in these unique vineyards, which are located near the Meili Mountains, close to the Himalayas. These vineyards reach altitudes of up to 2,600 meters above sea level. And the name Aoyun loosely translates into flying above the clouds, which somehow makes me think of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragons, where the characters are flying around with swords. So there you have it, the Mighty Mouse of wine grapes, Cabernet Sauvignon. He may be small in size, but he's larger than life when it comes to flavors and characteristics. The name Merlot loosely translates into little black bird because as a grape, she sports such a deep blue hue that she's almost mistaken for being black. I've affectionately nicknamed her Minnie Mouse because who can resist Minnie's allure? She's soft and fun, a real crowd pleaser, and simply delightful. Merlot differs from her brother Cabernet Sauvignon in many ways. She's softer with larger berries and thinner skins. When you sip on a glass of Merlot, it's a burst of fruity goodness and plummy richness with a distinct chocolate or mocha-like characteristic. Merlot tends to ripen earlier than her brother, producing medium to full-bodied wines adorned with fine, silky tannins. One of Minnie's notable attributes is her silky texture combined with fruitiness and rich plummy notes. These qualities make her a popular choice for blending with her brother to soften his powerful nature and add fruitiness into the mix. And just like Mighty Mouse, Bordeaux is considered Minnie's birthplace. However, her spotlight shines on the right bank of the River Dordogne, particularly in the dense clay soils of Pomerol and Saint-Emilion. Here, she takes center stage in the blends and is no longer her brother's sidekick. The wines that result from these regions are soft and fruit-forward, yet with an age-worthy quality. I remember my visit to Chateau Beauregard during the En Primeur sale several years ago, and I was amazed at how fruity and soft the wines were that they were already ready to drink. Now you might be wondering what the En Primeur sales is. Picture it as a pre-wine sale system that originated in Bordeaux to help producers free up their cash flow. It's akin to pre-booking a condominium or house in a new development with the expectation that prices would soar once development is complete. The En Primeur system works on a similar premise and is a win-win situation for both producers and consumers. For consumers, it's a golden opportunity to purchase unfinished wines which may be really hard to get, which will only be ready to be bottled in a couple of years at lower prices. And as a producer, imagine having hundreds of thousands of bottles worth of wines in barrels aging for 2 to 3 years before they're ready to be bottled. That's a substantial investment of time and resources. The success of the En Primeur wine sale system has become so widespread that it's now adopted in various other parts of the world, such as Burgundy, the Rhone, Napa, and various parts of Italy. Whilst France boasts the largest plantings of Minnie in the world, they're typically used in Bordeaux blends rather than as single varietal expressions. If you're seeking notable single varietal Merlots, you'll find them in regions like the Barossa and Coonawarra in Australia, Mendoza in Argentina, Colchagua and Casablanca Valley in Chile, as well as Stellenbosch and Elgin in South Africa. These regions bring out the best in Minnie, allowing her to showcase her crowd-pleasing characteristics. So the next time you're sipping on a Merlot from any one of these regions, remember that you're savoring the delightful essence of our beloved Minnie in all her fruity, plummy, and chocolatey splendor. Now let's talk about some basic wine serving temperatures. The rule of thumb is lighter bodied wines are served at cooler temperatures and fuller bodied wines at warmer temperatures. Lighter bodied reds such as the Princess should be served lightly chilled between 12 to 14 degrees Celsius, whilst full bodied reds such as oaked Cabernet Sauvignons would be served closer to 18 degrees Celsius, and a medium bodied Merlot would be perfect at about 16 degrees Celsius. And if you'd like to learn more about why wine temperatures matter, because they absolutely do check out my video up here. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of 3 essential red wine grapes for beginners. Do stay tuned for the white grape version, and until our next date, be happy, drink some great wine, and here's to amazing health.